Hey everybody, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Total Ramblings. It's Lego Friday, everybody. We haven't had a Lego Friday for ages. It is Friday the 21st of March 2025. It's about 10 to 8 in the evening. I've just come back from visiting my wife in hospital, and today we have a brand new Lego set that only recently came out. It is ta-da! Lego Horizon Adventures, Aloy and Varl versus Shell Walker and Sawtooth. Now, this is based on the Horizon series of games, which you can get on PlayStation. There are 4 of them. These are the ones that I have. This is the first one, Horizon Zero Dawn. This is the complete edition with all the expansions. Obviously, as you can see, this came out on PS4. I have completed and finished this game. The sequel, which I am probably about maybe a third of the way through, is Horizon Forbidden West for the PlayStation 5. Basically more of the same. I kind of play it in chunks and then I kind of put it away and play something else for a little while. There's also Horizon Call of the Mountain, which is VR, PS5 VR only. Which I also have. In fact, that was the first one I played, and I played these two to get more into that, and then I haven't touched my VR headset since. And then most recently, this one, PlayStation 5 again, Lego Horizon Adventures. Basically, it's the story of Zero Dawn, kind of in a slightly more kid-friendly kind of way, and of course, Lego-fied, as if that's a word. Lego did release a Horizon set, which I think was based on, I could be wrong, but I think it was based on Zero Dawn. It's of a tool neck, which is basically, it's a giant, sorry, rewind a little bit. If you're not familiar with this series of games, it's a post-apocalyptic game set in the far, far future. And basically you play Aloy, who is a huntress, and she goes around trying to solve the mystery of what happened to the Earth, and basically killing giant robots which are deliberately built to resemble animals from our time, and also dinosaurs. And one of the giant robot animal things is a tall neck, which is like a giant giraffe. It's completely placid. You can't actually kill it. It doesn't do anything to you, but it kind of acts as like a signal hub for the area and opens up bits of the map. And I've got that set, and Lego released that a few years ago. And now they've gone full on with a Lego adaptation of Horizon. And here is the set that goes with it. As I say, set 77037, 768 pieces. This set cost me £40 at Argos. There's the side of the box. There's the blurby bottom of the box. There's another side of the box. Here's the top of the box. Unfortunately, Argos have seen fit to whack a sticker on there. Let's see if we can get this off without destroying the box. And not quite, it doesn't matter, I can keep the boxes anyway, but there's a picture of Aloy on there, our minifig. Now the Aloy minifig in the earlier tool neck set is possibly one of my favourite minifigs of all time because of the moulding in the hair and the paint job, and it's really nice. And there's the back of the box. So in the game, Shell Walkers, they carry these big sort of canisters on the top, and they kind of go around ferrying resources or ferrying refined stuff to and from cauldrons where the robots are built, and they have shields. And then we have a Sawtooth, which is like a predator type robot. And yeah, there we go. So, as is traditional on Lego Friday, we're going to build this set now. I'm going to do a time lapse and I'm going to show it to you afterwards. See you in about a minute, maybe. Okay, after about an hour and a half, we're done. Lots of little, tiny pieces in this set. There's 2 manuals, 6 bags. All the bags were paper, and some of the internal bags within the paper bags were paper, but some of them were also still plastic. So 6 bags, 2 instruction booklets. This covers bags 1 to 3. You've got the shell walker, a little bit of scenery, some grass, and Aloy. We'll talk about the grass in a minute. We're following Aloy on the build here. Like I say, lots of tiny pieces. The second booklet, that's interesting. This one is kind of like a rough paper, and this one is glossy. How strange. Anyway, this covers books 4, 5, 6, and you have Varl and the Sawtooth creature. And of course, in this one, you're following Varl along the build. So, let's cover the little side builds first. So first of all, we have some grass. It's red grass. This is a feature of the Horizon games because it's in like a rebuilt world. And coincidentally, or not, Aloy has red hair, and in the game, when Aloy, the character you are playing, crouches down in the red grass, she becomes effectively unseen by the giant killing robots. So that's the red grass. We have similar red grass in the previous Horizon Lego set. We also have a little side build here with a bonfire. A campfire, sorry. So in the game, campfires are like your save points and your fast travel points. There's lots and lots of them everywhere, and whenever you encounter one, essentially the game remembers that you've encountered it, and you can then fast travel to that point, either from another campfire free, or you can use a fast travel pack and travel to the campfire directly from wherever you are. You can also essentially go up to the campfire and save your game, a quick save or a manual save if you want to end your session. We also have a trunk containing 4 random sort of studs indicating kind of treasure or collectibles that Aloy is able to pick up in the game. So a couple of random bits of scenery. Here is the Aloy minifigure. I'm going to take the bow out of her hand for a minute. So Aloy has an absolutely fantastic molded hair, and you'll notice that it's dual molded. You can see there's color inside. In fact, it's like a rubbery sort of compound. So I don't know if you can see inside there, but also it has this trans blue kind of element here, which fits over her head and fits over this printed piece on her head. Now that is Aloy's focus. It's a futuristic piece of equipment from the old Earth as was, which allows you to scan your surroundings and in this instance target weak points on the on the monsters, on the robots. So as you'll see, this fits over there, so you can see the focus within this molded sort of this trans blue kind of section. This is a unique hairpiece for Aloy. Very intricate hair showing sort of woven strands, kind of like dreadlocks almost. And I absolutely love this hairpiece. Now, looking at the figure, Aloy has 2 faces, a sort of happy face and a sort of slightly concerned face. She has lots of printing. So she's got printing on the front of her torso and on the back of the torso. She's got arm printing. She's got, as we see, printing on all sides of the head, including the focus, and printing on the legs and also on her feet. Absolutely brilliant minifigure. Now, Aloy typically is armed with a bow. There are different bows that you can get during the game, and this particular bow, you're able to kind of reflect what type of bow it is. And I'm just pulling out these extra pieces here. So there's 2 fire pieces, 2 blue pieces, 2 white pieces and these red pieces. Now what this is supposed to represent is, for example, if I take off the red pieces that I've put on and put on the fire pieces, in the game you can augment your weapons with elemental attributes. So you can have a fire weapon that causes fire damage, and certain robots, certain of the monsters, are more susceptible to certain types of damage. So for example, a monster with fire abilities might be prone to water damage. For example, you've got ice, sort of frozen damage, and essentially what you're able to do is modify the bow to give the appearance of whatever weapon you would like Aloy to be carrying at the time, because she can have different bows on her, and each one can have a different elemental style of damage. So that's the purpose of that, which is a nice touch. And there is Aloy with her bow. Excellent minifigure. Now the second minifigure here is Varl. Now Varl carries a spear. Aloy also carries a spear, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. Varl also has two faces, and he's got like sort of tribal paint over one of his eyes. He's got a happy face, and he's got a sort of attacking kind of face on that side. He's got a cape, and he also has lots of printing. He's got front torso printing. He's got back torso printing. He's got some very complex arm printing. He's got printing on his hips, which I forgot to say, Aloy does also have hip printing. He's got printing on the front of his legs and printing on his feet. Lots and lots of printing there. Now, unfortunately, Varl, although in Horizon Adventures, Varl does also have a focus, it's not reflected here in the print, nor does his hairpiece allow you to kind of reflect that. It's just a single colour moulded headpiece. Now, as I say, Varl has a spear, and that's his kind of primary method of attack. Now, what they've done here, because in the game you can also adapt Varl's spear to have elemental damage, and these two pieces come off, and here, for example, you're able to fit this item to indicate that Varl might be using frozen sort of kind of elemental damage. We've got white here, which I guess might be water. I don't know which one is which, to be honest with you. You've also got this yellow one might represent acid. So essentially you can also kind of have Varl wielding the particular kind of weapon that you think he should be holding. So again, some nice little sort of customization there for your particular Varl, along with your particular Aloy. And I'm just trying to put the spear back in his hand now without everything coming apart, and it is resisting me. So there we go. There is Varl with his spear. Now, just before we go on, I'm going to put these bits to the side because they're not technically spares, but no, go back over there. These are the spare pieces. This set is primarily made of very small pieces. There are very few large pieces in this set, and you get a brick separator. So you'll notice the number of spare small pieces we've got. Now, there's one piece I haven't seen before, which is this one, which is kind of like the sort of minifig kind of stand sort of pieces, but it's got a clip on it, this one. I haven't personally seen that before, and this is a spare one. Okay, so moving on to the actual the main builds, which are of course the monsters or the robots. This is a shell walker. Now they're kind of like giant crabs, and sorry, that's just come off. Didn't mean to take that off, but it does come off. He's got 6 posable legs, so each leg can be put into a certain position. He's got 2 arms, and one of these kind of like is like a snappy kind of graspy kind of arm for picking up stuff and holding things, and then this arm has a sort of shield effect on it with these two, and there's also these two kind of veins sticking out. Those are kind of his eyes, and then at the back here we've got this these pieces. There's two of these and one of these, and these are probably the largest pieces in this whole set. But you can see here we've got this sort of container, and you can find these containers littered around the place in the game, particularly in the cauldrons, which are like the robot sort of construction bases. You find them everywhere, and essentially they are designed so that the shell walkers can walk around with them, having collected whatever resources they are collecting. I've just noticed a slight error in how I placed that. So there we go. So there's the shell walker. All the robots, or most of the robots in the game, have some kind of sticky up sort of antenna or veins or whatever, which sometimes are weak points or sometimes are just sort of a decoration. Presumably they are communication antenna. Not really sure. You can see here that, as I've already seen, this container does come off, and you can see underneath there's a bit of detail here, and this is a sort of cradle for the container, which can then just click in like so, and you can sort of show it being held by the shell walker. So yeah, quite a nice build. Little bit annoying getting the legs kind of the position that you want them in, but once it's there, it's there. So that's him. And then the other creature is a Sawtooth, and this is like a gigantic sort of attack dog, saber-tooth type thing, really. In the game, these are kind of like little chainsaws that it has, but it's got a couple of teeth here in its head, and you can see it's got kind of eyes. It's flexible, so this section moves, and sort of the spine, the kind of the ridges on the spine at the back here, they can move around as well. So you can sort of angle them. So if you've got the head back, they won't get in the way. All four legs move. The front legs are posable in. So they can swing out. They can of course go around. They've got click hinges here. They've got ball joints here, and of course you've got three kind of claws at the front of each foot. So you can kind of pose this in a sort of quite an aggressive way if you want. The back legs, they also go all the way around and come out. They have another click hinge affair and another ball joint, and of course more toes. So basically this thing is kind of supremely posable, really. You could kind of have this kind of charging at people from top of a rock or something. That would be quite cool. But as you can see here, you can sort of splay its legs out and kind of have it in a sort of hunched down position. As with the shell walker, we've got these sort of veins on the top here that represent whatever they're meant to represent. Robot greeblies, I suppose. And then at the back here, easily removable, there's this. So as I say, in the game, Aloy can use her focus to kind of target weak points, which have handily been left there for you within each robot. Each robot has a different weak area or weak areas. Each machine is possibly susceptible to certain types of elemental damage, and you kind of have to scan them and kind of learn which robots are susceptible to which. So you might have a fire Sawtooth, for example, or a frozen Sawtooth, which would, a frozen Sawtooth would not be susceptible to frozen weapons. A fire Sawtooth would not be susceptible to fire weapons, but both of them might, don't quote me on this, don't go and get killed in the game and then blame me, but both of them might be susceptible to water or acid, for example. So there's the Sawtooth. So yes, he's quite cool. I just want to mention one thing. I did find an error in the instructions. Now you'll notice here, this is in book number 2. So here we are building the main torso for the Sawtooth, and you'll see here we're adding a 2x2 black plate and a 1x2 jumper, and you can see those pieces go here. Now the next pieces we're adding are this 1x1 cheese slope and this 1x1 clip, but suddenly these white slopes and angled slopes have appeared, and they're not in this particular page. They're on the next page. So basically, with them having appeared here, you then have to kind of fit them. It's a fairly straightforward mistake in the manual, and I'm surprised these things don't happen more often, because they must be incredibly difficult to kind of put together. Be interesting to see if the online version has corrected these, because they do make changes to the online instructions sometimes. But there you go, just something to note of interest. So for £40, 768 pieces. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, if this was a Star Wars set, I think you'd be looking at, you know, £70-90. Star Wars sets have gone ridiculous in price, and I'm not buying Star Wars sets anymore. My one exception will be if they say, so for example, a certain type of spaceship has been observed in the Andor Series 2 trailer, and if Lego were miraculously to release a set based on that, I would of course have to buy it, because this particular type of spaceship is one that I always buy. But no, I'm not buying Star Wars sets generally more. The prices are absolutely ridiculous and you don't get as much. This is a licensed set, but it doesn't have the Star Wars tax / Disney tax. And I think this is reasonably priced. And given that it took me an hour and a half to build it, and it is mostly tiny pieces, and the effect at the end is particularly nice, I think these represent the creatures in the game, the machines, very well. I particularly like this one, of course. Then I think this is good value for money, personally. So there you go. That is my review of set 77037, Aloy and Varl versus Shell Walker and Sawtooth. I hope you have enjoyed my review. I don't know if there's any more Horizon sets coming out. If I look on Bricklink and put the term Horizon, of course I get Animal Crossing New Horizon or whatever coming up, and of course I get the previous Horizon set as well, which I'm going to proudly display next to these. But yeah, if there are any more coming out, I think I'd definitely buy them. I'm much more a fan of the smaller, the attack type creatures, and also I don't think the scales line up. So for example, with the tall neck, you have a Watcher, which is like the basic sort of size robot that you see, and he's very small, and I think he should probably be bigger when compared with the Sawtooth. However, the tall neck should be even bigger still. So whether the tall neck and the Watcher are in scale with each other, and maybe I don't know, it doesn't really matter, it's not important. I just think this is a really nice set. So like I say, £40. I got mine from Argos. It came out very recently. Thank you very much for tuning in for Lego Friday. Thank you for watching this episode of Total Ramblings. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the usual YouTubey stuff, and I hope very much to see you in the next episode. Bye bye.